All right, now we are going to be multiplying polynomials. So this will be video number 3 to 4.2, adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So let's jump right in with solving a problem. So in number 5, we have a monomial times a polynomial with 4 terms. So I need to take that 2x squared and times it by everything inside that parenthesis. So I take 2x squared and times it by 2x cubed. So 2 times 2 is 4. And when we multiply x squared and x cubed, we add the powers. So it's going to be x to the 5th. Then we take 2x squared times negative x squared. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Add the powers. 2x squared times 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X squared times x. And remember, x is the same thing as saying to the power of 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Then 2x squared times a negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and I have the x squared. And that is multiplied. All right, number 6, I have a trinomial times a binomial. And if I do it the same way with distribution, it gets kind of messy, okay? Because I've got to take every term in the first set of parentheses times every term in the second, and it's just kind of messy. So I like cleaning this up a bit. I draw a box that will be, since it's 3 terms, and times 2 terms, it'll either have 3 rows or columns, and then 2 of whichever it doesn't have 3 of. So I do 3 columns and 2 rows. I like mine being longer than taller, but you can have them go 3 as a column and 2, or as rows and 2 columns, whichever. And I write the trinomial across the top. Each term gets its own column. So 2x squared in the first column, negative 3x above the second column, and 5 above the third column. And then my binomial goes down the side. So x gets its own row and negative 2 gets its own row. So to fill out the inside of my box, this is doing my distribution, I'm going to take x times everything above the boxes. So x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times a negative 3x is negative 3x squared. X times 5 is 5x. All right, let's move down to the bottom row. I'm going to take negative 2 times that whole trinomial that's above, written above. So negative 2 times 2x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6x. I'm sorry, negative 3x is 6x. And negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Now those were all the terms if I were to have distributed this, well, which was what we did. We just organized it in a box. So now I'm going to write my terms. My highest degree is 3, so 2x cubed is the first term. But then I have 2 terms that have x squared. So I'm going to combine like terms by adding those together. So I get negative 7x squared. You add their coefficients. And then I have a 6x and a 5x. Add the coefficients, I get 11x. And then I just have the minus 10. So that is that trinomial times binomial all worked out. All right, so for number 7, I now have a trinomial times a trinomial. So again, if I did distribution without the boxes, it gets really messy. I have all of those, each thing times 3 terms. It ends up with a lot. So I do the box, and now I have 3 terms times 3 terms. So I'm going to do 3 rows and 3 columns. And it doesn't matter if you write that first trinomial across the top or down the side. I'm just going to put it across the top. X to the 4th gets its own column, negative 10x squared gets its own column, and 25 gets its own column. The other trinomial is going down the side. So 3x squared gets its own row, negative 6x gets its own row, and negative 1 gets its own row. So to fill out the first row, sorry about that, I'm going to take 3x squared and multiply it by the trinomial that's across the top. So 3x squared times x to the 4th is 3x to the 6th. 3x squared times a negative 10 x squared is negative 30x to the 4th. Remember, we're adding powers when we multiply them. 3x squared times 25 is 75x squared. All right, now for the second row, I'm going to take negative 6x and multiply it by that trinomial on the top. So negative 6x times x to the fourth is negative 6x to the fifth. Negative 6x times a negative 10x squared will be a 60x cubed. And a negative 6x times 25 is going to be a negative 150x. Then we fill out the bottom row. I'm going to take negative 1 and multiply it by the trinomial. So negative 1 times x to the fourth is just negative x to the fourth. Negative 1 times negative 10x squared is 10x squared. Negative 1 times 25 is a negative 25. All right, we need to find our highest power and collect like terms if there are any. So in this case, 3x to the sixth, highest power, and it's the only x to the sixth. So that's my first term. Then I have x to the fifth, and there's only one of them. So then I have minus 6x to the fifth. I have 2x to the fourth, so negative and a negative 30. Add them together, that's negative 31x to the fourth. Then I have 60x cubed. Then I have 2x squared, so I have a 10 and 75, so add them together and you get 85x squared. Then I have a negative 150x, so minus 150x. And then I have the negative 25, which is minus 25. So doing the box just kind of cleans it up a little bit, makes it easier. And we're going to stop the notes for here and continue the rest of the multiplication on the next video. So now you can go to your practice and do problems number 17, 19, 22, 24, and 25.